Let's go back to Clive Palmer now. He's speaking. He's launching this legal challenge against the cap on political donations. He's going to be asked about other things too, including Steve Bannon claiming that he urged Palmer to invest billions, I should say many millions of dollars in a recent Australian election campaign. Let's have a listen in.
It's not about billions or hundreds of millions of dollars. It's about the right to be able to talk to each electorate. That's been really quarantined for sitting members of Parliament who the taxpayer is paying the postage. That's bad enough, but people challenge them, can't even raise the funds so that they can communicate with Australians, and that can't be good. A founding tenement of every journalist is the right to protect the public's right to know what's going on in the Parliament, to know what's going on in the government, to understand the issues that they can really countenance the value of their vote. The Australian Parliament, in my view, does not have the power to stop members of federal Parliament raising funds to carry out their oath of office in accordance with the High Court ruling on the right of political free speech in Australia. And being able to communicate with Australians, even the limited example that I've given you, the simple act of writing them a letter. Elections must be fair. And the next election, the Liberals and Labor have given themselves $41 million of taxpayers' funds. Recently, the AEC released a table of expenditure by private parties and donations, and of course we topped the list with $53 million or something. But I want to assure everyone here today that was our money. It wasn't taxpayers' money. It wasn't your money. And taxpayers' money shouldn't be spent at all in advantaging one side. Because if the Liberal and Labor parties start out with $41 million and Pauline Hanson hasn't got that much, right? She can't compete really with communicating her ideas. Not necessarily that I'm endorsing what Pauline Hanson says, but she's got the right to say it and the right to be able to put her position to the Australian people, just like the Greens do, just like the Teals do, just like we do, right? And if they're not asking the government for money, why should they be prohibited from spending their own money when on the other side of the ledger the Liberals and the Labor Party are being funded by the Australian taxpayer? So elections must be fair. Fairness, proportionality and the right to political free speech cry out that this is not the state, it's not the government, it's not the Commonwealth that the Anzacs fought for in the Second World War. We all live in the Western Bloc. We all have to have an appreciation and a tolerance about everybody's right to express their opinion. I know it's pleasing to read Mr. Corey's articles in the paper when he actually canvasses both views on a subject. It's thought-provoking, Phil. It enables you to think. And the same thing's true about all political communications. I feel sorry for the Liberal Party if they believe that they need a $41 million head start at the next election. No, I don't think that'll be enough. As the fifth wealthiest Australian and former life member of the Liberal Party and spokesman for the National Party, I can tell you the Liberal Party is a party full of wankers, or would be if they could be. That's a good quote for you, Phil. A party full of wankers. But generally not being a politician, and I would exempt Ralph Babat from this next comment, I would say that politicians are like pigs. They need two things, food and to be re-elected. The Liberal Party has no future. If we don't get rid of Labor, more and more Australians will have no food. Albo gives $600 million to PNG so that they can have a rugby league team. $600 million of your money. Yet he refuses to give $200 million to Australian charities to feed hungry Australians to solve the lack of food in our community, those who are doing it tough. We know we've got 350,000 Australians sleeping in cars. I slept in a car just a couple of months ago in Perth. It's not easy. It's hard to get the kids up in the morning and to get them washed and take them to an ablution block. It's hard for the wife of that family to be able to prepare a play group for their children at the beach or in a public park. These sort of things are happening to Australians, and we've got to come together more as a country and realise we all are Australians, we all have rights, and we wouldn't want it to happen to us. But that's what the Labor Party and the Liberal Party have forced upon us. We need to go forward to feed the hungry Australians and stop the crazy policy of importing millions of people a year to destroy our country. Now, I'll just say, on the current political debate, the fragmentation that's happening in this place, right? It's very disappointing that we have a lot of support for companies that have no solutions for our country. It's very easy to criticise, it's very easy to say this won't work, and Pauline Hanson's been a great person over many years with a torch telling us what's wrong, trying to be a light inside of the darkness. But we need more than that. We need to know what are the solutions. We don't want, as I said, wankers as politicians or our representatives in Parliament. We want a fair and a true democracy. We don't want a rigged election. And I hope in this legal challenge to the High Court we'll be in a position where all people can stand for Parliament free and fair, on a free and fair basis.
Mr. Palmer, you've been very critical there of Susan Lee.
Yes, I have.
You said nothing of David Littlepratt. What's been the nature of your recent discussions with David Littlepratt, the National leader?
I haven't had any discussions with David Littlepratt, but I'll perhaps explain to you the rationale for how I see the situation, right? When I was in this Parliament, we passed a lot of hate speech legislation, plenty of hate speech legislation, right? And you don't solve the problem by just passing more hate speech legislation. What's needed from the government is enforcement and action. There's plenty of sections under a whole lot of codes where these matters could have been dealt with. We don't just want to have a very sort of surface appearance that we are doing something about the problems that confront us in this issue. We need action from the government, and we've had very little action over the last 5 years.